What's up, everybody? Time for some more rSpace. Am I the a-hole for suggesting to my fiancé that we make our honeymoon inclusive of our friends? I'm getting married in 7 months, and 1 week after the wedding, we will plan our honeymoon, which will be in a resort of our country, around a 2-hour flight. The place we were going has always been a dream destination of me and my friends. When I told them where we'd plan our honeymoon, they said how jealous they are and how they wish they could also go. I told them that we could consider the idea of making this a friend-inclusive honeymoon, and they were very excited with the idea. Sadly, for many years, we hadn't been able to plan the trip with the guys to that place because our conflicting schedules, but now pretty much is easier for us to be able to align our vacation days. So I thought this was a great chance. I announced it to my fiancée the other day, and I thought she'd find it a cool idea, but she got completely mad at me and started crying and telling me how much of an inconsiderate a-hole I am. I tried to explain to her that I didn't do it with malice. I simply thought it would be a good chance for the guys to experience it, and I even told her she can tell some of her own friends if they want to join. She told me that I'm ridiculous for insisting that this is a good idea, and how she felt horrible because I'm inconsiderate because I made my honeymoon into a friendship trip when it's supposed to be about us too. She also says I'm an even bigger a-hole for discussing it with my friends and getting them excited about it when I didn't consult her, and honestly, I think she's right on that part, and I might be the a-hole. On the idea though, I didn't think she'd mind that much. I thought it sounded fun. Am I the a-hole? Randolph MD has a verse response. It's a honeymoon, you fool. She's in for a hell of a marriage. You're the a-hole, completely. Next judgment from Tantrums. I'd be reconsidering the whole marriage at this point. Announcing his decision without considering her? Turning it from a honeymoon into, essentially, a friend's trip your brand new wife is also invited on? OP, what the hell were you thinking? You're the a-hole. Fix this immediately and apologize if you want any chance of saving your marriage before it starts. Edit. Yes, I would absolutely reconsider committing to marriage if my future husband tried to change our once-in-a-lifetime plans without asking me first. Forgot about my feelings when his guy friends were around, assumed I'd just go along with what they wanted, and made me look like the bad guy to his longtime friends right before I'm supposed to become his spouse? And I'm not apologizing for saying that. Eins2 says, how are the friends okay with this plan? How did not a single one of them say what everyone here immediately knew? OP, I'm concerned about the decision-making abilities of you and your friends. The next judgment is from Butts-Oop. You're the a-hole. It's your honeymoon. What on earth made you think your fiancé would want anyone tagging along with you? And she's completely right about you getting your friends excited for nothing. You're the a-hole for that, too. AdaptNeck3178 says, now watch OP say, sorry lads, the old ball and chain said you can't come. OP has to explain to his mates that he was out of line, even entertaining them, and the honeymoon is strictly for the newlyweds. He cannot, in any way, blame his fiancée for his cock-up, and they had better not surprise them by turning up. He-Man2Bearish says, you're the a-hole. Honeymoon is the time you get to take out for each other as a newly married couple. The message you are sending here is you don't consider your honeymoon to be special and are treating it just like a holiday with friends. Next up, am I the a-hole for giving my husband the silent treatment? I, 30 female, and my husband, 30 male, recently moved into this neighborhood in this small town, and we're not loving it. The whole town gives off extremely cultish vibes, to be honest. But we're stuck here for a bit because of work, so we're sucking it up. Anyways, our neighbors are interesting. They're super religious and very uptight. They give off extreme classist vibes and are just fake all around. They have around 6 children, and the youngest is a boy around the age of 13 or 14. Let's call him James. My husband and I often hear James playing a guitar in his backyard almost every day when his entire family is gone. We didn't think much of it, but he's quite good. Well, the other day, my husband was hanging out in the backyard when he found a sort of opening in the fence separating us and the neighbors, and after further investigation, he realized that James sneaks into our backyard and hides his guitar behind our shed. We know it's his guitar because the both of us can't play instruments, and we've seen the kid with the guitar. James is a skinny kid, so it's definitely possible for him to get through the opening. My husband was really upset. He said that the thought of someone sneaking into our backyard gave him the creeps, and he didn't want the kid to do it anymore. I agreed, but I also felt bad for James. I suggested we talk to James while his family was out, and I was also planning on telling James to hand us the guitar when he wanted to hide it instead of sneaking into our yard. My husband got mad at this and said it wasn't our responsibility to keep his guitar safe and that we needed to tell his parents so that they can keep him out of trouble. We were still discussing what to do, but I got an important call from work, so our convo ended as I had to leave. I assumed we'd talk later, but my husband immediately went to our neighbor's house and told the parents what happened. When I found out, I was furious. Then it got worse when I noticed James crying in his backyard. I used to be that kid whose parents didn't let her have any interests, so I really felt for him. Ever since, I haven't spoken to my husband unless it was regarding bills, food, etc. He's calling me childish and petty, which is fine, but he made a decision with no regards for my opinion on for what might happen to the kid. I ignored him, which made him more upset. I told my best friend what happened, and she told me that she doesn't agree with his approach, but I should stop with the silent treatment. So I did, but when I tried to talk about the situation with my husband, he said I needed to get over it. He's getting the silent treatment again. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for not talking to my husband? The first judgment comes from Moctopus. ESH everyone besides the kid. Don't give your a-hole husband the silent treatment. Give him the very loud treatment, then divorce his cruel butt before he knocks you up. He'd be a horrible father. Edit. I genuinely don't know how any of you could countenance living under the same roof as someone who would do this. It shows an absolute callousness that isn't okay and indicates something is really wrong with him on a fundamental ethical level. P.S. Someone should also call CPS and have the family looked at. This is abusive. Good Girl's Grace has the next thought. I feel so bad for James. It's not nice to grow up in a cultish family with 6 children, and what OP's husband did was really cruel. And OP didn't give her husband the silent treatment. She tried to talk to him about it, at least after a while, but he brushed it off. MX Murden weighs in. Yeah, she's not giving him the silent treatment. He's giving her the silencing treatment. She said, "It's important to me to talk about X." He said rudely, "There's nothing to talk about with X." So she said, "Then I guess there's nothing to talk about." His behavior is unilaterally setting the rules of conversation between them, and she's just not accepting that. Extract AD 6164 chimes in. Not the a-hole, but I am actually concerned for those children if the boy is hiding something as simple as a guitar. I really hope nothing bad happens to him because your husband decided to snitch. Last judgment from Drunk on Red Cordial. Not the a-hole. He did a terrible thing to a child who just wants a healthy outlet. Your husband isn't interested in discussing any different perspectives, so what's there to say to him? Moving on. Am I the a-hole? I got uninvited from my friend's wedding, and everyone says it's my fault. So my, 27 female, close friend Bethany, 27 female, is getting married the day after Christmas to her fiancé, Jim, 29 male. Jim and her have been together for 5 years. He popped the question in late 2020, and they've been planning that wedding for a year. Bethany and I used to be really close, like sisters. When she first got with Jim, she started prioritizing her relationship as months and years went by. She didn't cut me off or anything, but she stopped hanging out as much with me and the girls. She stopped coming to basketball practice. Bethany, I, and some other girls who are friends used to go on practices together. I was concerned, and I asked her if she's okay, because she seems distant since she wouldn't hang out as much with us anymore. She said she's fine, she just lost interest in basketball and found new hobbies. Her new hobbies consisted of yoga. She also dropped out of college and went on to get a certification to be a yoga trainer, completely ruining her academic career. I thought Jim was behind this, but everyone says she seems really happy now. I couldn't see it, and I always thought she changed for the worst. About the hanging out, she claimed that she never stopped hanging out with us. She just needs to balance her time between work, hobbies, relationships, and friendships. But she always had time for Jim, but never for us. Everyone told me I'm overreacting since she still hangs out with us. I know she does, but it's not like in the past when we'd hang out more often, so there's definitely a change. 2 weeks ago, she had her bachelorette party. Another friend of mine and I were discussing how she centered her whole life around planning that wedding for a whole year and how she's lost herself to that man and her pretentious hobbies. Bethany's sister overheard me and told her what she heard. Bethany didn't speak to me for the rest of the night. The next day, she sent me a long text. She didn't even call me, just to tell me how I'm uninvited from the wedding since I don't seem too happy about it, and that if I'm gonna be overly judgmental about her life and her choices, I don't deserve to be part of her special day. I am completely heartbroken by this, and everyone around me tells me I had it coming and that I'm the a-hole for talking badly about her and her choices in her bachelor party, and how my whole attitude towards her choices for all these years was leading up to this moment. Am I the a-hole? Acrobatic Cover 2712 shed some light on this. How could you not be the a-hole? You've been judging her for her choices for years. Then we're bashing her at the bachelorette party because she checks notes, does yoga? Congrats, you just cost yourself a friendship. You're the a-hole. Blah Blah Snickers says, yeah, you're the a-hole. You were talking badly about her and her soon-to-be husband, the person who comes first in her life. It sounds like you are jealous. One more judgment from Princess Buzzkill. You're the a-hole. Your friend is creating a new family unit with her soon-to-be husband, and you resent that because you're no longer getting that attention. Everyone around her says she's happier, but you continue to criticize her decisions. You were overheard saying nasty things about stuff she enjoys and people she loves. I'm not sure what else you expect.